Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another match of the Carling Currie Cup. This one, the Bulls taking on the Griquas. It's already been an eventful weekend in the world of rugby. Upsets left, right and centre. This game, the Bulls are favourites, but they've been struggling a little bit for their Carling Currie Cup. They are a stacked side on paper, but the results just haven't quite been there. As you can see, the Bulls sitting there in 6th at the moment. If they got themselves a bonus point win here over the Griquas, they would go ahead of them and then potentially ahead of the Pumas as well. So there's quite a bit to gain here for the Bulls if they want that semi-final contention to still be on the cards. Looking through at this Bulls starting lineup, the front row is Ruan Swart alongside Nebelele of the under-20s, and Jean Erasmus gets a start. As the number 3, Manjezi alongside Delou in the locking joy with Navakaba, Pokomela and JJ Tiron as the number 8. And this contest, Zach Berger and Buta Chamberlain will be the 9-10 for this match. Chris Smith in the midfield alongside Letebelli, so he actually moves from the wing into the midfield, and then that is to leave space for Cheswell Juster to get himself the start. Dianti out on the other wing, and then Stravino Jacobs at number 15. Looking through at this Griquas side is pretty similar to what we've seen them use throughout most of their Currie Cup. Davids, Ice and Lamini as the number 3, Pretorius and Lebenberg in the locking duo with Oosterhuizen, David, and also Else as that number 8 option. In the back line, it will be Abrahams partnering with George Whitehead, who is known for that experience and also that kicking tee. The exception of one game, he has been extremely accurate throughout this Carling Currie Cup season. It's William Dubber in the midfield alongside Zane Bester, and then Gershon Ware out on one wing, Dylan Mart out on the other, and Hufka slots in at number 15. So those are the starting lineups for these two sides. Let's do it. Come on, boys. Says Pieta there, and also Japan women so far have scored the most points of the teams that have lost. Says Novmum, yeah, the Women's World Cup so far, I will be honest, we haven't had a lot of close games. And it's a shame because I feel like once we get a few close games, that's when the interest really starts peaking for a lot of people. You know, when you have a game that's split by less than like 20 points. I think Japan, you know, they were always going to give a good effort, but 42-14, we need something a little bit closer. And I don't know whether or not we're going to get it for that New Zealand versus Spain game either. So we're still waiting for that close game, and hopefully it's coming soon. We have got I think Ireland, New Zealand will be close. I agree. I think that one's got potential of being a close game. I'm trying to think of who else. I'm looking through at the fixtures actually now to see if anything's going to look. No. England, Australia, maybe. Canada, Scotland, potentially. I feel like those are our games at the moment to look forward to, and maybe they will be relatively close. We have got there the Bulls, says Ange, and Griquas to win by 8 points, and go the Bulls, just do it, says Wildlife. And there as well. At the moment, it says about the Currie Cup that is about to take place, but we've also got some blokes cycling at the moment for our New Zealand coverage, so hopefully that does change in the relatively near future, as, of course, it's very hard to hold a rugby ball while on a bike, from personal experience. But off the benches in this contest, we will go like this. There we go. These are the men who will be making their way off the bench for this game. I do think in this case, you know, we've seen some consistency from the Griquas in terms of who they're bringing off the bench. Martin Zima, of course, getting a few minutes off the bench for the Bulls as well. Ferreira's there, Strauss too. Yeah, very intriguing to know how this one will go in the later stages, because we have seen sides start extremely well in this Carling Currie Cup, and then they fade by the end. But the Griquas, they're actually on a 3-match winning streak. So they're not looking too shabby at the moment. They did struggle a little bit at the start of their Carling Currie Cup season, but beating the Sharks, the Western Province, and recently Buland. And we've learnt more recently that that's quite hard to do, because they have been beating pretty much absolutely everyone who is in front of them, which is why Buland sit right at the top of the table at this stage of the year. But looking through in terms of what the Bulls have done, they have had, like I mentioned, a very up and down type of run here. They beat the Sharks 64-0, where they were dominant throughout that matchup. Didn't look like slowing down, but then they certainly did. In their next game, they were beaten 41 points to 7 in that contest. And then alongside that, also the defeat to Buland. And the one that hurts the most is when you're outside of that 7-point margin. You know, you want to make sure that you're squeezing down that deficit, have that little bit more chance of getting bonus points, heading deep into the competition. But that's not quite what we're getting yet from the Bulls. But in Pretoria, it is currently sitting 27 degrees Celsius. So it is pretty warm, or at least that is the high that is expected for today. The sun is out though, and it does look like a very nice day for a game of rugby. Hopefully both of these sides will be able to play a nice loose kind of game. We have got their g'day all. So here's Yuri, welcome in. Hope you're doing extremely well. I will mention the voices is slowly disappearing, but hopefully it won't be too bad for this match as a whole. We have also got the game later on that is taking place between New Zealand and Spain that I am hoping to cover on the channel as well. So if I have to whisper for that one, you kind of know why. Afternoon rugby fan, says Jimbo. Welcome in, Jimbo. Hope you're doing very well. Hope you've enjoyed the rugby weekend that we've had so far. It has been a hectic one, that is for sure. But, you know, overall, it's just been very entertaining. We saw Tonga get themselves the upset in that Pacific Nations Cup. Canada weren't really supposed to win their game up against the USA, but they did. Argentina getting that big win over New Zealand. So now every side in the Rugby Championship after 2 rounds have 1 win. So it's just, there's going to be some close finishes to certain competitions, I have a feeling, including this Carling Currie Cup. But at this stage, the top 3 sides, or at least the 3 that you would expect to be at the top, are sitting at the bottom. We do see there the Cheetahs and Boland sharing 21 points each at the top, and then the Golden Lions and the Pumas, the other 2 in the top 4 at this point in time. But if the Bulls win this game, like I said, with a bonus point, they can move their way right back up into semi-final contention. I stay in Pretoria. It's 28 degrees and very windy. Yeah, I do see quite a few flags in the background, kind of blustering back and forth. Nabakaba, the captain for this Bulls side. Chiswell Euster, though. I'm curious to see how he goes. He came off the bench in the last game that we covered of the Bulls, and once again, just like in the under-20s, he is a quick individual. Ireland 42-14 Japan, just finished at Northampton Saints ground. Hot and sunny there too, says Jimbo. Yeah, because I know that New Zealand are playing, where were they playing? They were playing in York, I think it is. How far is York from Twickenham, Jimbo? Do you know your rough locations of the UK? And then I do see also South Africa versus Brazil. That is taking place at Northampton as well. We have got there, hey Hammy, hope you are well. Games being played make the game in Eden Park in Wellington even more juicy. Says Ben Brits, yeah, it just means pretty much both New Zealand and South Africa won't go into that Eden Park match with full confidence, which in a way is a slightly new situation. Oh, yeah, I've got the hello Hamish. I'm happy today. How are you? Says Albert, I'm doing very well. Looks like a beautiful day at Loftus for this Carling Currie Cup game. I'm a little bit disappointed that we've only been able to cover, this will be the second game of the Carling Currie Cup round. York is maybe 200 miles north of London. Okay, so not too far of a travel for the sides. Another cover in that number 6 jersey. Excited to see how they go. And in this contest, the Bulls, because on paper, like I said, they look like a pretty stacked side in this Carling Currie Cup competition, but in reality, they just haven't quite put together those results that you would expect the team that they've got. But I'm backing Chiswell Euster to at least get 1 try here. Hopefully they can free him up, give him a little bit of space. He's up against Gershon Weir, who actually, now that I think about it, will probably get a try himself. AJ Jacobs, the man who will be in charge of this contest. Big smile on his face. Yeah, this one will be intriguing. Do let me know your score predictions for this one too, ladies and gents. I think that the Griquas, from their last 3 matches, the fact that they're on a 3-match winning streak, they have shown that they are more than capable in this competition. They're away from home here. The Loftus guys, you could almost argue they are too. I know that they're still in Pretoria, but they are away from Loftus for this contest. It's like a relatively decent crowd too. The Bulls, they will be kicking off from left to right. I've just remembered on these live streams, I am the scoreboard. So what we will do is we will go like this. And we will go, hopefully, with a little bit of luck, like this as well. And magically, boom, we're good. We have got there 38 points to 18 to the Bulls, says Novmum. We have got there, hi Amish and everyone, hope you're all well. Says Lily, you're doing very well, hopefully you are too. The voice is almost gone, unfortunately, but we're slowly building back into it. It's like a motor, you just got to, you know the kickstart motors? You got to pull on the cord a few times. That sounded dodgy. Didn't mean it like that, but I am awake. I don't like AJ. He's a sevens ref. Says Yuri. He's all right. I think because he talks a little bit more, I don't mind him, but he does make some interesting calls throughout an 80-minute period. He's a little bit similar to Piardi, how he loves the chat. And that's, I guess, something that some people like in a referee and something that some people really do not like. I haven't predicted any results this week. Might be jinxing the Bulls if I picked them to win comfortably, says Jimbo. And after yesterday's match, the All Blacks might need to rebrand with 3 yellow cards. They are looking more like the All Yellows. Wasn't your best one, Katzenau, but yeah, their discipline has been shocking in the last little while. Nice attack and run from Chris Smith, currently sitting 22 metres out from the line here for the Bulls. The River smiling, he knows as Kalahari Sheep is waiting for him. Says Ben, and the scoreboard is still to your left, remember? Yeah, see, that really stumped me yesterday. It's this side for me. Is it still... So it wouldn't be this side, it's over here, right? Because for me, it's here. And it really confused me yesterday. Definitely because I was sleep deprived at the same time. Big run from Stravino. Jacobs ball on the inside to Smith. Look for the offload, but the Griquas have managed to get that ball back. Have you had any sleep yet? I managed to get about probably 5 or 6 hours, which is a decent effort over a weekend. Oh, that's not the best exit from Gershon Ware. But yeah, we definitely have more hours awake by a massive margin than I have had sleep over the weekend. But I'll be able to get a few hours today, and then I think later on tonight, George is coming round to film. At some point, the Springboks, I assume, would also announce their squad for the Rugby Championship, so I'll have to keep an eye out for that. But I will sleep in a couple days. But our rolling maul here for the Bulls. Nebeleli with the possession at the back. Zach Berger going off to the left-hand side. There is a penalty advantage in favour of this Bulls side too for the collapsing of the maul, and we will be going back for it now. As it was dragged down, was adding up the injury list between AB's Box and Aussies, and it's ridiculous. Yeah, there are a lot at the moment, and it all depends on how far back you're looking as well. I haven't heard an injury update on Cortez Ratama as of yet, but if he's out, then New Zealand could be looking at Finlay Christie and a debutant up against South Africa. That's a bit frightening. And we have got there, hi Jimbo, says Lilia B. Getting ready to throw this one in. 5 metres out from the line. Nebeleli again with this rolling maul chance here for the Bulls. Looks well set, but the Griquas, they've been relatively physical throughout this Carling Currie Cup season, although they've missed that one a little bit. It looked like about 3 players went round the side of the maul. And Nebeleli still keeping it on the side. Where's the ball gone? I think there might have been... Right, referee's whistle's not working. He's been blowing on it for a while and nothing's come out. 5 metres out, it will be the penalty to the Bulls. I'm doing South Africa women versus Brazil and New Zealand versus Spain in the World Cup. What about this one? The All Blacks tried to play a game of red light, green light. Got stuck on yellow for 80 minutes. Says Katzenau. That was slightly better than your All Yellows one. I'll give you some slight more credit for that one. This game overlap with the Women's World Cup. It certainly does. That one, nicely done by the Bulls, and they will have themselves the possession now. Almost getting wrestled down is... Oh, that's a suplex from Nebeleli. That wasn't even near the ball. Ref needs a pee, says Jimbo. Yeah, that always used to confuse me, the fact that a whistle had a little ball in it. And that was kind of half the reason that it made the noise, or probably most of the reason, in fact, because of the ball moving around. Very good there. What do you think? Can Griquas get themselves a win? I think that with the way that they've been playing, this is a very possible game for them. But then at the same time, the Bulls, they can't keep losing, if that makes sense. Like, they're a good enough side that eventually they are going to start getting it a little bit more right. And perhaps it could be this game. At the moment, they've had about 5 minutes of attack. I don't know whether or not the Griquas have even been inside of the Bulls' half. Now another offload. Buta Chamberlain goes to Lebelele, or Nebeleli, I should say. Sorry, Netabelli. We got there in the end. Now, Stravino Jacobs, he jogs through. Defensive error there. And the Bulls will now score their first try of this contest. It just seemed a little bit too easy. Stravino Jacobs, he didn't even have to pin the ears back. I'm also a referee for rugby, says Jan Lu there. So that, of course, will help with your commentary side of things, seeing as you'll know the little intricate details of the refereeing. I'm sure your whistle works a little bit better than AJ Jacobs does at the moment. He's just pretty much blowing and nothing's coming back. So many innuendos on that one. We have got there is that Hillcrest at Tuck Stadium. Says Albert. Is that Hillcrest at Tuck Stadium? Hillcrest, that one's gone straight over my head. We have got there, hi Jimbo, we're on the same page regarding the P. Says Bruce there too. But yeah, nice pass from Zach Berg, and then just a nice easy step. It ended up being that Sebo Lameni was actually the man who was trying to mark up with him, which was not quite ideal for the man. What is the weakest side in the Women's World Cup? I saw America being savaged. Is Spain in trouble? Spain aren't expected to win, but I don't know who the weakest side would be. Like, honestly, this Women's World Cup, it's a bit similar to the men's in some regards in terms of there will be one-sided games, but also it more so reminds me of the Rugby League World Cup. But the biggest problem with the Rugby League World Cup is they then decided, because of the one-sided games, that they would cut the competition down to like 6 or 8 teams now. So it's a tricky one because it's very clear watching the games which sides have got decent funding and which sides don't, and that's the sad reality of it. You know, the sides that are supported for their women's game have been performing quite nicely throughout the competition and have the resources to be able to do well, but like there's not many competitive games of the group stages. I would say maybe the last round, I think, is when we're going to see the most one or like closest games. New Zealand, Ireland's playing at that stage. England, Australia, but then that one could be debated as a bit one-sided too. Canada, Scotland, but also the lower ranked sides playing each other. I think that's where we'll see some closer games and actually see roughly where everyone's sitting. But the try has been scored by the Bulls, I should say. There we go, scoreboard. Did not want to update. So I have my mouse in the wrong place, but now we've got it all right. Penalty goes the way of the Griquas, their first real attacking opportunity of this half. And we have got there at the Tunie Sports Club. Hopefully I've said that correctly. I probably have not, though, I would say. Now George White here, kicking this one towards the sideline, does go out. Now chance here. Once again. Yeah, intriguing type of matchup, this one. Because you've got a Griquas side on the streak versus the Bulls side, who are also on their own streak, but it is actually, at this point, a losing streak of the two matches. Only a few weeks ago, we saw them win a game 64-0 up against the Sharks. Just like Argentina, we practically don't have women's rugby. It simply doesn't exist. Although the Sevens side have a women's team, don't they? And did they get Division 2 the end of last year? They might have just missed out, but yeah, it was good to see them at least feature in that women's side of things. That's a nice bit of work from JJ Teron. He's gone straight through the middle of the rolling maul, manages to force the error in favour of the Bulls. Now, back across to the right-hand side. Chance here, one more pass on the outside. Buta Chamberlain. Now kicking downfield. Cheswell Euster trying to show off the pace, but it has gone straight into the hands of, it would be Dylan Mart out on that right wing. Good afternoon. How are you, Hamish? Are you working tomorrow? What time is the Springboks women's team playing? There's a few questions in a row. I'm good. I am working probably in the afternoon for a little bit. And then also Springboks women playing in around 35 minutes up against the Brazilians. But yeah, I'm hoping to cover at least one Springbok women's game. And I think it might be next week. Between South Africa and Italy. I'm hoping to do that one, but of course nothing quite confirmed yet. And then in the last round, they are playing up against France. That's not an easy game, but we might end up covering that one as well. Because there will be some overlaps with the Carling Currie Cup. And of course, the Currie Cup by that stage will be at its kind of playoff stages, so that could actually work in our favour. South Africa playing today in 25 minutes. So here's Jimbo. Now, line-out throw here for Janko Ice and his Griquas side. 10 minutes into this contest, going into the back, nicely taken there, all rush defence. Coming from Manjezi, and how is the Springboks women team? How are they? As in, like, how good are they? Or just, like, are they feeling all right? I assume, like, they'll be Well, that's the thing. Brazil are a hard team to know what to expect, really, because I think South Africa will come in as favourites. But Brazil, if it's anything like their women's sevens, they'll have a couple really handy players across that 15. The same can be said about the South Africans, though. The likes of a... one moment, we'll go like this. And we'll go like this. I actually want to look through at the lineups, see whether or not a certain player... Yeah, Nadine Ruiz is playing in that number 9 jersey. Now, nice offload there from the Griquas. And Bulls, let's go. Jan in Mozambique, says Johannes there. And Brazil first ever World Cup, says Jimbo. So, yeah, there will be a lot of pressure. I was looking through to see whether or not Da Costa was playing for them. That's a nice, easy run. And that will be the try now for the Griquas. Answering back, it's the try of Gershon, where he was one of the two that I thought would be able to score in this contest. It now means that Cheswell Justa has that little bit more pressure to be able to cross the try line as well. Running it round nicely so that George Whitehead has the easier kick as well here. Be a very handy one for this Griquas side. Oh dear, not appearing blue. That link, says Bruce. And also over there, Bulls, let's go, Jan. Oh no, I read that one, didn't I? From Johannes. But yeah, I haven't actually seen any sort of odds for that South Africa versus Brazil game, so I don't know whether or not South Africa are considered big favourites. I know that their game up against the New Zealand XV, they did look very strong, and hopefully, if they play like that, they could be quite competitive in their group stage matches. But yeah, very intriguing, this Women's World Cup, in terms of getting to see slightly where everyone is actually ranked. I assume there'd be a lot of World Rugby implications in terms of rankings too, because it's normally double points, isn't it, for a World Cup? We have got there, let's go, the Griquas, says Lilia B. And there as well. And they are now back into this contest, 7 points to 7. I see taken under the high ball for this Griquas side. And hoping for the Griquas to win, says Bruce. And they'll have a decent chance of getting themselves a victory here, the Griquas. One's going to be kicked towards the touchline from George Whitehead. Does sail into touch. Looking a little bit hot out there at the moment, the players. It is about 27 degrees or so. It's probably one of the warmer games that they've actually had in recent times for the Currie Cup. Or at least that I can think of. It's been a slightly better afternoon around the world for a bit of rugby. That's going to be nicely taken, although just dropped there for Albert Leibenberg. No teammates willing to put him down nicely. Now off to the left-hand side. Going for the kick in behind, nicely taken, and the mark is called. Oh, Dianti decides to take it quickly and has a bit of a fumble with the ball too. Bjorta Chamberlain kicking downfield. Does get it into touch. Looking a little bit nervous there, Bjorta Chamberlain, with the start of that match. I said there, Abraham's just not really getting that kick downfield. How Boland next match next week. For Boland, who have they got in the next game? They did play... Did they play the Sharks this week, or have they got the Sharks next week? It might actually be either Sharks or Western Province for Boland coming up. So it will, of course, be one to keep an eye on. A little bit of conversation going on there between Yanko Ice and Eddie Davids, just trying to work out exactly what the plan is for the line out. Now ball feeder, nicely taken. Going away to the left-hand side. In fact, another little chip attempted in behind, something that the Griquas have gone to multiple times in this game. That's going to be nicely taken by Zach Berger. Oh, and now breaking through the line, moving up to halfway. Now the offload, but it's stolen by Gershon Ware, and that will be a second try in a row for the Griquas winger. And they will score themselves yet again another try. Gershon Ware, man who does cross the line there. All right, we'll go like this and like that on the scoreboard. There we go, slowly updated. And where are the women's games being played? They are in England. And that one between South Africa and Brazil is actually happening in Northampton for the contest. I really probably should have covered that game in terms of the interest about the first round of the World Cup. It is probably not too late. I could whip up a thumbnail if that is a game that you guys would prefer, alongside giving updates about this match as well. We have their Sharks next week in Western Province final week for Boland, says Johan there. And also, is this on Loftus? It is actually not at Loftus. I have left the Loftus background for this game, but it is actually at a different location, which was mentioned earlier on at Tunis Sports Club, which I possibly butchered the pronunciation there. But now getting ready to kick this one off for the Bulls, who are now down 14 points to 7. The Griquas continuing from where they left off. Yes, please do. South Africa versus Brazil, says Mohadin. And Griquas are probably shocked to see the green grass, or what green grass looks like. Yeah, the field's looking slightly dry, so it's not a mile away from home for this Griquas team. But yeah, they play on some pretty rough-looking turf, the Griquas. But the fact that they are still as competitive as they are, and the fact that they still, they still win and they don't end up with 50 injuries, I think is a massive credit to this Griquas side, because I assume it would be very easy to go down with injuries when you're playing on a turf like that. And we've actually seen quite a few of the opposition end up going down with those said injuries. But not really the Griquas. Now it will be Nebeleli getting ready for this line-out throw. I'm currently multitasking as well. We'll see how well this goes. Nicely taken there by the Bulls. We have got there, I don't know about the rest of yours, but South Africa versus Brazil would be appreciated, says Johan there. Yeah, at the end of the day, it is the first game of the World Cup, isn't it? For the South Africans, I think Boland can prepare for the home semi-final. And now, Zach Berger getting ready to kick this one in behind, going high with it. For anyone who hears the typing, that is me currently setting up that stream. We've got to give the viewership what they would prefer. Oh, good attack and run forward from the Griquas. Now, George Whitehead looking to kick this one in behind. He gets a decent amount of distance, but well controlled at the back, and a mark taken by Buta Chamberlain. Something you don't really see too often in that much open space, but obviously trying to slow it down. It is being played in hot conditions as well, so that is completely understandable why they would want a little bit of a rest in between. All right, we'll go like that, and that. There we go. Now kick downfield from Buta Chamberlain, which will bring the line out here for the Griquas. Your pronunciation of Bulant is superb. I've actually been practicing. I have tried my best to make sure that it rolls off the tongue that little bit better than it did. But yeah, still every once in a while doesn't quite sound right. What happened to the Bulls? They looked so good in round 1 and 2. I agree. I think that the last game that they looked formidable was probably their matchup up against, it would have been the Sharks. And then from there, they just kind of dropped off in a really weird fashion. And a very quick fashion too. And they haven't even made drastic changes to the lineup. Like, yes, they gave a few more players a bit more of a chance, but nothing that you would think was going to completely break them in terms of form. But something about it just didn't really work out, unfortunately. 20 minutes in, not the best throw there. This means now that the scrum will be in favour of... Oh, no, in fact, sorry, the line-out will be in favour of the Griquas. As you can see, my multitasking skills have not actually got that much better, but we're almost there. We have got their score now, says Martin. At the moment, the score is still 7 points to 14, but this time we're after 20 minutes now in this contest. Going to be thrown in by the Griquas, nicely taken. Now going away. Slowly, in fact, making meters quite quickly there with Yanko Ice breaking off the back. Good, dangerous run made by the Griquas number 2, sitting around the halfway line at the moment. Boland is known as comeback underdogs. I think Boland, the thing is, at this stage of the season, I don't even know if I would call them an underdog anymore, because they've been beating all the top teams. So theoretically, that does make them a top side, right? If they are going to keep on pulling off the wins in the fashion that they have been. But it's going to be the penalty there against the Bulls for not rolling away. It does mean that the Griquas Didn't you know the Bulls is all Springboks, says Johannes? Well, that's the thing. Like, they've got so many great players in their lineup, so it just doesn't make sense as to how they aren't, higher up on the table. Just with, the options that they have got. There are certain words I've actually learned I can't type while talking. Brazil is one of them. Fun fact. But now line out here. Yanko Ice ready to throw this ball in for the Griquas. They are sitting 22 metres out from the line. Nicely taken. Beautifully done by this Griquas attacker. Now's Willendaba going a little bit closer to the try line. Working away to the left again. And no more Jake White, says Yuri. Oh, now that's something that, to be fair, no one's really been saying, but is it the reason that they aren't going as well because they haven't got Jake White to yell at them anymore? Perhaps. Maybe taking it a bit too casually, the Bulls. But then the other side of things, I learnt last live stream for the Carling Currie Cup that all of the URC teams, in terms of their sides in the Carling Currie Cup competition, they are safe. Pretty much no matter what. In fact, completely safe. So there's also that side of things where this is more so just a depth testing kind of competition now, unfortunately. And it is a shame because I feel like it would be looked at differently had they had the chance of getting demoted, if that makes sense. Like, I do feel like there would have been a bit more oomph. I mean, New Zealand have a lot of injuries, says Mohadeen. They had Cortez Ratama go off with an injury, and then Ethan de Groot also went off early with an injury too. If the Bulls lose today, they don't stand a chance for the semis, or am I wrong? No, you're pretty much right. Like, they could still just sneak it, but it would not be easy for them to be able to do. Like, they would have to work extremely hard and get 2 big wins from here to kind of have any chance. But now the Griquas, they have got themselves another penalty, just the 10 metres out from the line at this point in time. Again, a good position on the field to be if you are the Griquas, as they will slowly keep on pushing towards that 3rd try of the contest. Of course, bonus points could be extremely important in this competition as well. I have got there the Bruce with the clapping and the smiling from Bruce there too. But believe it or not, you've probably unfortunately heard me clicking all throughout this. Hopefully you've been able to hear the commentary not too bad too. But I have all but made a thumbnail for that Brazil versus South Africa game. I feel like this is the most multitasking I have probably ever and possibly ever will do while also streaming. But it's slowly getting there. Nice line-out throw from the Griquas. Because the best thing is, with Sky here in New Zealand, I can do like a multi-view, so I'll be able to keep track of both games. That's a good rolling ball for the Griquas, reaching out just short of the try line. Boomers outplayed the whole All Blacks team, says Briston. I agree. I think that there were a couple All Blacks who didn't do too badly, but there were a lot of them that probably, New Zealand are in a little bit of trouble. That's going to be a great try from the Griquas as the Bulls are in trouble defensively. They just keep on leaking those tries in the middle of the park, and the Griquas are having a field day at this point in time. We'll get our high Craigers back from St. Francis Bay in South Africa. Says Craig, welcome back. Hope you're doing extremely well today. It's been an eventful weekend in the world of rugby. Oh no, says Briston. Yeah, this is not the way that this Griquas side thought that this match would end up going. And it's not quite going, not quite the way that the Bulls would want it to go. Rumours going around that the Cheetahs could take the place of one of the Wales teams of the URC. Wouldn't that be great? Depends if it's going to be because Wales are losing a team, or whether it's because losing funding for a team, or whether it's just getting kicked out. Because if it's just getting kicked out, then I'm not the biggest fan of it. But if it's because they literally can't afford to be in the competition, then I'm all for it, if that makes sense. I don't like seeing sides lose their spot. Definitely in a competition like the URC, how it is actually kind of regionally based in terms of each country has their own representatives, and it shouldn't be that one side has more than the others, or at least majorly more than the others, which is what you'd end up with in that South African side. We have there WRU not decided yet, so it's only rumours. Yeah, and it will take a little while probably for them to make up a big decision for it. Like, I don't see them going crazy and doing it just like in the very near future. But now Griquas again have got themselves hands on the ball. And now charging forward. Does go just into touch for Gershon Weir, ran out of space down the wing. And I Am Shy All says, Wild Lobster, welcome in. Hope you're doing extremely well. Wales are reducing their clubs down to 2 officially, says Albert. Okay, so, but then, do you think that it should be South Africa who get a team first, or should it be someone who hasn't got 4 teams? Or will they, I guess the thing is, they would have to completely change the format of the URC, because of course you have like those regional miniature kind of competitions as well. And Ice from Brakpan is going to be training the Bulls. That's quite the last name that I had no idea how to say. That's why I just kind of sat there in silence. How serious is Peter Steptotoy's injury? Will he be travelling? I believe so. It was a concussion, which I know, like, you could argue is actually quite serious, but I assume it will be like most, how you got that 2-week stand down, and if he's not in test match number 1, he'll probably be in test match number 2. I would think. Like, I don't think they'll take too many massive risks and play him in a game that they don't need to, but at the same time, you know, it is Peter Steptotoy. So if he's going to get the chance, they would probably go with it. Archies was kicked out in the original comp, says Albert. That is true. Although the 4 Irish teams, 4 South Africans, 2 Italians. Scotland's only got 1 team, don't they? Or no, sorry. Glasgow, Edinburgh. They got a 3rd? They'll have to try and work it out a little bit, but I'm sure that someone would complain if South Africa had more teams than any other region. But I do agree that the Cheetahs are probably a good enough side to be in that URC and at times competitive. Even if it was like a Cheetahs, Griquas, and all of those sides combined, some sort of like hybrid team. Maybe that's how they could get away with it, saying that they're not so much representing a South African franchise, they're just everyone in there. I actually forgot it was possible concussion, says Bruce. And also we have got there, how's the favourites? Oh, who's the favourites to win the Carling Currie Cup? At the moment, the Cheetahs are right up there. And alongside that, I feel like Boland are actually starting to put their name in the hat a little bit too. Bit of an injury here for Jean Erasmus, the youngster, was in their under-20 setup. Does look like he's just struggling with something to do with his knees at this point in time. Hopefully he is going to be all right. Yeah, able to continue in this contest. Same shoulder by the sounds of it as maybe a little bit earlier on. I've actually moved the game over to here just for a second, ladies and gents. My multitasking skills do need a lot of work, but the good news is we have almost got that all sorted out in terms of a Brazil and South Africa thumbnail and whatnot made. We're almost ready to go. If that is, of course, the one that you guys still do want, we can do the multi-view in terms of talking about both of the games at the same time. Well, we'll go like that. There we go. And like that. I found Nadine Rus. Of course, doing very well for the 7 side of things as well. And we have got the South Africa Rugby Union become full members next season, which will ease the changes. Ireland only has 4 teams, so we don't care. Says Jimbo. I think Boland will take this Currie Cup. I actually think you might be right. Like, they look really good at the moment, this Boland side. And the benefit that they've got is, you know, they've been beating the sides that they were told at the start of the Carling Currie Cup that they should get beaten badly by. And, you know, that has to do absolute wonders for the confidence of the side. Sorry, I had to look at the thumbnail from straight on to see whether or not players are the same size. And it is going to be another penalty. Currently 21 points to 7 at the moment. AJ Jacobs awarding the penalty this time to the Bulls. Now, Buta Chamberlain, he will be able to kick this one towards the sideline. The benefit we've got is this game will actually be at halftime pretty much at the start of that Women's Rugby World Cup game. So that might work quite nicely. Don't count out the Pumas either. Strong team, says Lilia B. That is true. And as long as the sides are close enough to that top 4, you know, there is a chance that they can make their way through. Yeah, big collision there between Zach Berger. Looks like their coach not too happy with it either, just a little bit too high from the Griquas. Now sitting about 22 metres out from the line. Yes, there's Wild Lobster in there as well. Tell you what, they're playing all the good tunes at this ground by the sounds of it. A little bit of... The thing is, I don't know what this song is called, but I think it's Seven Nation Army now that I think about it. That might be its name. But, yes, they have got the bass going at the stadium. Now, Carl Else. Is that ball in hand? Playing number 8 here for the Griquas today, and they will be able to kick this one out over the sideline. Nicely taken. All thought about the quick throw for Dayanti, but now decides against it. And how Cheetahs playing next week, or who are Cheetahs playing next week? One moment, we'll have a quick look. They are going to be going head-to-head in round number 6 up against the Griquas. And that's going to be a home game for the Cheetahs too. Great song, says Jimbo. So yeah, it could be a very intriguing game. Definitely with where both of those sides could be sitting if the Griquas can get a win here. But drop ball by George Whitehead. Now away to the left-hand side. Dayanti showing off that step. No advantage though. They are going to go back once again. So there's going to be another penalty. A little bit of a juggle there from George Whitehead. Go like this. While we have got that stoppage in play as well. One moment. My brain's not working in terms of multitasking mode. We'll go like that. Go like this. Like that. And like that as well. Apply that. And like that. There we go. I think there is a first place ending for Borland. I actually think that they will definitely be in the semi-finals. The finals might be tricky just because, you know, with a new side in the competition for the season anyway, like that could be a lot of pressure added onto them here. And, you know, that will bring its own challenges heading into this type of contest. We're quickly going to reshuffle as well while we've got these scrum resets. We've actually been very lucky in terms of the amount of stoppages throughout this first half that have just given me enough time to be able to try and shuffle a few things around. We'll go like that, like that as well. Chuck that there. Chuck it in English because that's where we're from, or that's a language we speak. I won't be doing too much Brazilian in that one. In fact, Brazilians speak Portuguese, don't they? The online abuse from Botcaters just disappeared this morning suddenly. Oh, it didn't really disappear from or for Box supporters. Because I know that I've seen a lot of South Africans giving a lot of New Zealanders stick. But that was always going to be expected because a lot of New Zealanders gave South Africans stick after last week's game. So, you know, it's kind of like the paybacks coming in at the moment for a lot of those New Zealand ones who did talk badly of South Africa, but now going off to the left-hand side. Chance here down the wing. Kicked him behind by the Griquas. This one's not going to pull up by the looks of it. Oh, it's going sideways, in fact. It does just stay in the field of play. Morning, good morning, says Blues Nate. Welcome in, mate. Hope you're doing extremely well. We have been multitasking big time on this stream, and we are actually going to end up doing South Africa versus Brazil in the Women's World Cup taking place in about 10 minutes' time. We've ended up scheduling that one somehow with a little bit of multitasking, and that's now up, and that will be starting in about 5 minutes, maybe a little bit longer depending on when halftime starts and this matchup as well. But yeah, so very busy in that regard. We'll go like this as well while we are at it. That's going to be now in the hands of the Griquas. That looked a little bit high from Munjezi, kind of hanging on to him around his head, which I don't know how legal that is, but was what happened. Now, another call of a penalty from AJ Jacobs, and that's actually going to be for the high tackle. I didn't think he would end up getting away with that one. I'm going to go back now. And we have good there. Yeah, let's go, Hamish. Says Blues Nate, and also Bulls have a good record versus the Griquas, but one team is going in one direction down, the Griquas in the other. Says Jonathan, and yeah, the Griquas now chasing a bonus point here. So they have decided to go a little bit more risky, I guess you could say, but at the end of the day, they're up by 14. Their kicking has been solid from George Whitehead. We're going to see it now again, though. Munjezi just hanging onto him around his neck. And he decided to eventually put him onto the ground. So it is just called as the high tackle. I have got about 50 tabs open at the moment. But I think we're almost good. So that one's going to start at 1:45 a.m. New Zealand time, ladies and gentlemen, for that South Africa versus Brazil game. But nicely taken here by the Griquas, who might actually secure a bonus point by half-time if they keep on going the way that they are. When it's half-time, says Mohadeen, about 5 minutes' time is when it's going to be happening in terms of the half-time break. And now going short side again. Oh, straight on the breakdown for Dianti, and all but got the steal there for his team. But the Griquas, once again, just seem to be that little bit of a step ahead of the Bulls. We've got to remember, the Bulls had all of the attack in the first 5 minutes or so of this contest, but since then they have struggled to get any sort of real momentum going. The territory in this game's got to be about 70% as well, I would think, in favour of this Griquas side. And bloody digital technology. I'm 1 kilometre from UK border. BBC player locks me out. Bring back antenna on the roof. Do they actually? That seems pretty... Can you... Yeah, no, that's weird, isn't it? Surely you're like, there's got to be some sort of leeway, right? And we have got their number 8 for Brazil, Camila Carvalho. And good luck, Brazil, says Blues Nate. Yeah, you guys will get to see me butcher a lot of Brazilian names. I will say that right off the bat. Because, of course, because we weren't thinking about doing that one, you already put up the South Africa, Brazil. I see it in the live section. Says Briston. Yeah, so we've managed to schedule that one. Once this one is halftime, we'll pop over to that next stream. I'll quickly change this scoreboard time as well. Up to, that's 83 minutes, not 38. There we go. Right, the Bulls are actually making changes in their front row already here. So that does make you wonder whether or not perhaps this starting pack haven't quite done the job that was expected of them. And honestly, when you look at the scoreboard, you could agree that they haven't really got firing in this type of matchup. But, yeah, we'll see. We'll see whether or not they can make a comeback. And like I said, I'll be watching a multi-view for that second half, so I will be able to see exactly what the score will be or will end up being, I should say. Martin Zima onto the field in 37 minutes. It is not too often that a winning side will replace a prop in the first half, but it is often that you see the losing side make that switch if needed. Zach Berger, he will be feeding in this scrum from only about 5 metres out from the line. Ready to put this ball in. And g'day, Hamish, how you feeling after last night? I'm doing quite well. Only tired. That would be the only thing after how hectic of a day it was with South Africa versus Australia as well as New Zealand versus Argentina. But yeah, it was just a crazy day of rugby. It was fantastic to see because now every side has a win after 2 rounds and the Rugby Championship is more open than it almost ever could have been. We have the South Africa game also at Northampton pitch is in perfect nick and also weather perfect. Yeah, see, the only thing with my thumbnail that's wrong is the fact that I've still got it at York because of the fact that I just used the background from the New Zealand stream that I had already scheduled. So that's hopefully something not many people will notice. In fact, no one probably would have noticed it until I just called myself out for it there. But not straight there from Yanko else. That one hurts because that was one of those times where if they got it right and they scored just before the halftime break, you're all of a sudden in the absolute box seat heading into the second 40. Whereas there, they just didn't quite get it right. And the Bulls have been under pressure at scrum time as well. Go like that and like that with a little bit of luck. Sit still. There we go. Had to try and steady my hand so that we could end up putting the lineups in the right place. But now 1 minute remaining in this first half. Then straight after, like I said, ladies and gents, we'll go over to that South Africa versus Brazil one. What's been the media reaction? I haven't actually seen a huge amount of it because relatively close after that game, I was getting all the streams set up for today. And then I kind of headed to bed. But I assume they're not happy. And I think that there was one little thing that I saw about how Razor has possibly been too safe with his lineups, and now it could end up costing New Zealand. Oh, that's half time. They actually finished slightly earlier than anticipated, but half time in this contest, 21 points to the 70. So what we will now be doing, ladies and gents, is we'll go for another 1 or 2 minutes just while I finish setting this up, but then we will bump over to that next live stream. Beautiful day for the Women's World Cup in there as well. Oh, there we go. Wasn't that straight arm scrum penalty? I think that's supposed to be for the Griquas, says Albert. It seems like it was a little bit of a 50-50 in terms of AJ Jakob's scrum call there. He just kind of went, oh, well, half time. She'll be right. We'll go like this and like that as well. A little bit of luck. Close that. Click that. Go here. Click that. Hopefully. Click that. Go over here. Click that. Click that. As you guys can see now, there's a lot of clicking involved in terms of setting up streams. Much more than some may think. We have got there one of the Brazilian players has blue lipstick. She's also got blue hair. Another one of them. But we are going over to that stream now, ladies and gentlemen. So be sure to pop on over to continue watching along. We are going to be doing the Carling Currie Cup second half on that stream as well. But yeah, it should transfer you straight over, but be sure to pop over because we will be starting in a minute's time. We'll see you all very soon.